I've decided that the next musical that I'm going to talk about, as you noticed from the title, is Into the Woods. So, because I am already late in getting this video out, off to a great start, I'm not going to waste any more time and just dive right in.
Once upon a time.
Today I'm going to talk about the longest opening number that I have ever talked about, and probably the longest musical number that I have ever talked about, the opening of Into the Woods. Like with most opening numbers in musicals, what this song does is that it introduces us to our characters, sets up the show, and also sets up the tone that we should expect. The first thing I want to address with this song is the tone. Because this show is just a bunch of fairy tales that are interwoven together, this show is introduced to us by a narrator. So this narrator is telling us this story. Hence why the very first thing you hear in this show is Once Upon a Time. And this is just a nice introduction to this particular aspect of this show. Things get quite a bit more meta later on, but for now we just have this narrator who's telling the audience this story as it unfolds. And now I'll talk about the characters and the setup for the show. The reason that this particular song is so long is because we have a lot of characters to cover. And this song allows us to see all of these characters, get introduced to all of these characters, and just show why all of these characters are all going into the woods all at once. First, we have Cinderella. Cinderella is a young woman who lives with her stepmother and stepsisters who are terrible, and her father who really isn't any better. She wants to go to the festival being thrown by the prince, but because her family is terrible, she is unable to. So she decides to go into the woods to visit the grave of her mother to see if that can help her in any way. Next we have Jack. Jack is a young man who lives with his mother and his pet cow, Milky White. He's going into the woods to go to market to sell his cow, much as he might not want to, because he and his mother really need the money. And then finally we have the baker and his wife. The baker and his wife are visited by a witch who lives next door. The witch reveals that because the baker's father stole beans from her, she cursed their entire family. She also took the baker's sister. So the family is cursed to never have children. So to get this curse broken so the baker and his wife can have children, they need to go into the woods to procure some ingredients. These ingredients being, the cow is white as milk, the cape is red as blood, the hair is yellow as corn, and the slipper is pure as gold. We're also introduced to Little Red Riding Hood, who stops by the baker's house before the witch stops by, to gather up some goodies to take to her granny who lives in the woods. And with that, we have all of these characters coming together and going into the woods at around the same time. And this song does a great job of introducing us to all of these characters, interweaving all of these stories, and setting the tone for the musical that you are about to watch. So that is it for this week's song. Tune in next week for next week's song. See you then!